ATA not letting my fiancé's sisters be in our wedding if my brother isn't in it? My fiancé, 23M, and I, 21F, are getting married next August, and honestly, I'm thrilled. We've talked about marriage almost our whole relationship, and I truly can't wait to build a life with him. But wedding planning has brought out a disagreement that I did not expect, and it's spiraled into something that is honestly stressing me out way more than I want to admit. For some background, I moved about 4 hours away from my hometown 3 years ago to go to my dream college. During Christmas break that year, while working, I met my now fiancé. He immediately caught my attention. He was a farmer, loved hunting, and basically had the same outdoorsy lifestyle I grew up with. My family is a big farming family, very into deer hunting, pheasant hunting, and fishing. I am sitting in a deer blind right now writing this. Meeting someone who shared those values and hobbies felt really natural, almost like we'd just stepped into each other's worlds without effort. Because his family lived only about an hour from my dorm, I naturally ended up spending a huge chunk of my college years with them. I became really close with his parents and all 3 of his siblings, close enough that sometimes I heard family news before he did. On the other hand, we didn't visit my family nearly as often. He'd come down a few times a year, and we alternated holidays, but that was about it. And honestly, back then, I didn't push for more because I grew up in a house that was pretty harsh, controlling, and emotionally messy. My brother and I were put into therapy extremely young because of how rough things were. So not rushing home constantly didn't feel like a loss. But things changed going into my senior year. My parents and I slowly started getting along better. My brother and I reconnected. Holidays and visits home started feeling less stressful and more normal. My fiancé also began going with me more often and actually enjoying time with my family. He and my brother bonded over hunting, farming stuff, and they even added each other on Snapchat and messaged here and there. He would literally ask me, every time we pulled into town, if we were going to stop by my brother's place. So in my head, it seemed like all the family blending was happening really smoothly. When he proposed, my family was actually able to be part of it. They were supportive, excited, and present in a way they hadn't been for a long time. And honestly, that meant the world to me. It really felt like everything was coming together. Then came wedding planning. Specifically, choosing our bridal party. And that is where things took a turn. I have always said that I wanted my older brother, my only sibling, to be in my wedding. It wasn't a new idea, it wasn't something random, it wasn't something I sprung on my fiancé out of nowhere. I've said it since we were dating. He never disagreed or questioned it. Ever. But suddenly, when we actually started the real planning, my fiancé told me that he thought the groom picks the groomsmen and the bride picks the bridesmaids, and that was that. No overlap. No mixing. Just traditional roles. I was honestly confused because I'd always viewed bridal parties as a combined group of people who are important to us. But I figured maybe he'd eventually remember that my brother mattered to me, so I didn't push too hard right in that moment. Fast forward to a few days ago. He comes home asking when I'm going to finish putting together my bridesmaid proposal boxes for his sisters. I was so confused I literally just stared at him for a second. I told him that his sisters weren't in my bridal party because he made it clear that he wanted his groomsmen list to be his decision only, so I figured that meant my bridesmaids list should be MY decision only. It felt like the logical extension of the rule he set. He immediately got frustrated and told me I was being ridiculous because he wanted all 3 of his siblings in the wedding party. His brother is his best man, and he wanted both sisters as bridesmaids. Meanwhile, he was still firm on not including my brother at all. I told him I didn't think it was fair that all of his siblings would be in our wedding, but my one and only sibling would be left out entirely. That's when he said he doesn't know my brother well enough to have him stand up there as a groomsman. That comment honestly shocked me. They talk. They joke around. They hunt together. They snap each other. He asks if we're going to visit my brother every time we're in town. So suddenly pretending like my brother is basically a stranger felt like an excuse because he just didn't want him up there. So I told him that my brother is one of the people I absolutely want standing beside us on our wedding day. Not sitting out in the audience, watching everyone else be up there except him. And my fiancé literally said, well, he can be there. But he can sit with everyone else. Hearing that kind of stung. So I said, okay then. If my brother is sitting in the audience, then your siblings can sit in the audience too. He did not like that answer. He got quiet, dropped the conversation completely, went off to do his own thing, and ever since then he hasn't brought up the topic at all. No compromise. No further conversation. Just silence. So now I'm here wondering, am I the asshole? Is it genuinely unreasonable for me to want my only sibling included in my wedding the same way he wants his siblings included? Is it unfair for me to say either all siblings or no siblings? Because that's honestly the only solution that feels equal right now. I'm not trying to be petty, and I'm not trying to start a war before our wedding. I just want things to feel fair.